I'm going to show you something cool, but before doing that, I will come up with a kick by randomizing this synthesizer. Okay, let's take it. Okay, let's get back to business. Today in the Polyverse Discord group, which is always a nice place for ideas, someone asked a ridiculous question, which was, is wider a delay? Wider, a plugin known for just making things wide. Every sane person would say, no, are you an idiot? This is not a delay. But in fact, it is a delay of some sort. Let me show you. If you use EQ Curve Analyzer on wider, you can see its frequency and phase response. Now what does wider do? The more you turn it up, the more it increases in gain on its filters, as well as making them more squishy. To 100% they have a lot of gain and they are very squishy, especially on the high end. And the second parameter just adds a low cut to this effect, so that it's only applied to the high end. If Polyverse is watching this video, I would still appreciate another parameter to do the same with the high end, so that I can like only process the mid-range. I think that would be pretty cool. Okay, anyway, so someone was asking if this was a delay, right? And it has a phase response. So phase is sort of a micro delay. Phase is to delay what quantum particles are to atoms. That's an analogy that I like to use because quantum states don't have a concrete position. Phase also doesn't have a perceivable delay. However, phase can be made into matter if you just add much more of it. Just like how quantum particles can together form something that has mass when they are like acting in a certain way. And then suddenly we're talking about atoms and molecules and all that. So let's also apply this logic to wider. That's why I prepared a little chain here, because I will now apply a macro to both of these parameters so that I can control them. And by setting up this macro already on the first instance, I can copy wider and it will be applied to all of the instances here in the chain. So now we can already listen to what this sounds like, but before doing that, I wanna add a tool so that I can turn down the volume by 36 decibels. So we can already hear that it sounds different than just adding wider to the sound. It kind of makes something weird, phasey. Let's dial in the dry signal. It still doesn't sound like it is delaying the sound. It just sounds kind of different. So what we'll do now is we will just copy these instances of wider 3 more times and we will use the other gain slider instead so that we can go down even more. Actually, let's try to go down to minus 120 decibels. And we don't hear anything anymore, so let's use twice as many. So now we can hear a lot of these weird phasing things going on, and we can try dialing in the dry signal again. So here we could definitely hear how it was a very different sound, and I think we could also already hear a little bit of delay. Not entirely sure. However, what I'm going to do now is I will take another chain and just put all of these into this chain and copy the chain. Actually, let me undo that again. And instead, I will use a macro for the gain. It has to be an extremely subtle macro. That's already way too much. Okay, that's more like it, because I need to be able to control overall volume a little bit. Finally, it just dissolves when you go to the lower values. I think that's because it just doesn't add a lot of gain at those. So at this point, the sound is just so phasey. It's just an entirely different sound at this point. So let's try dialing in the dry signal. So now we could really start hearing how it's like not on the same hit entirely. So let's add another chain and carefully dial in the volume. Yeah, that's basically it. So at this point, you could save this as a preset like I will do now. So I will call this preset MudPy wider, because that's kind of what I want to use it for MudPys that are based on wider.